Okay. So as we have different vendors in JDBC, right? So different vendors of database, right? So JDBC is a concept which interact with any type of vendor, any type of database. So which is common in Java. So there are different types of JDBC. You have type 1, type 2, type 3 and so on. Okay. So you need not worry about the older versions. No one are using it. So I'm going to tell you about how currently JDBC, how every people are connecting to the JDBC. What is the latest version? Right? So if it be any type of database, underlying database, it doesn't matter. We have a jar for each and every database. So we connect that first in your code and load the jar into the code, establish the connection. And normal statements we perform in a database are what? Like we have DDL and we have something like DDL, DML, right? So data definition, language and data manipulation, all the create, alter comes under DDL, create, alter, drop, and DML, as you all know, like insert, delete. So those things in DML. So basically using
This
database,
vendor means application?
vendor means like Oracle, MySQL, DB2, different guys. Okay.
Okay.
So each and every database has a different style, right? Underlying servers and everything. So there is not a much code change in terms of Java. You will just change the jar. So each and every type of connectivity is established in a jar. Say for example, if you're going to connect MySQL, you will be using a jar called com.mysql connector.jar. If Oracle com.jdbc.odbc. These are like jar names. If you Google like JDBC connection jar for Oracle, you will get one jar. So you need to add that jar in your class path. So that's how it works. Fine. And establish, and then you need to load the jar into the code. There is one piece of code where you can load the jars. So then from that you can establish the connection. So once connection is established, either you will put data, insert the data to the existing tables. Normally how it works is from Java no one will create table and all. Okay. So the existing database will already be there. People would have already created table. From Java, what you do is in real time you may insert data. Correct. So once you insert data, right? Uh, Once you insert data, the data should be updated into the tables. Am I right? So you can update the data, and the other thing is you can query the data and select. Query the data, select, that is select command, and display it in the screen. So these are the normal operations we perform. If someone onboards into your application, you just insert the data, right? If someone want to changes any information, that flow is called update. If you click on a button to retrieve some employee or some guy's information, that flow is called select or retrieval. So if you know all these three things, that's enough actually. So how to insert, update, and query the data. Fine. So now I will show you a few samples. Okay. And before that, yeah, if you see here, first step is to the driver class for the MySQL database is this. So I've shared you people a link actually. So download MySQL. Okay, so you can try downloading that link directly. It will download MySQL, and the installation process is quite simple. Only you can simply give next, and finally you need to install everything within that package and just choose username and password as admin and admin. So that will be easy for you. Okay. And the driver class for the MySQL database is this. So you need to download this jar, first step. And the connection URL for MySQL will look like this. Okay, JDBC colon MySQL followed by your local host. This is a port of MySQL which runs. And in terms of MySQL, you know, right, you need to create database first. And inside database, you will have the projects. In Oracle, it will be different. Okay, you will be end up in creating, I think in Oracle, the name of what you create, the username will be your database name, I guess. Okay, so here connection URL will be like this. So this is your database name here, and your username and password you need to give in the code. So once you add the jar, your typical code will look like this. So class.forName. So what does it mean is this piece of code is called dynamic loading. Normally to load a class, right, we put a new of the class, right, employee equal to new employee. So that's the way we did so far. So using class.forName is called another type of loading called dynamic loading. At runtime only, what Java does is it will create a new instance of that MySQL JDBC driver. Okay. The reason for that is, so tomorrow if you want to change your code, you just specify this in some properties. You just change the jar name alone. and the configuration details alone. So all these things will be in some text file in real-time applications. What people will do is it's a configuration change, right? They will change the JDBC name, connection name, username, password. So seamlessly you will change to different database itself. If you don't want MySQL and you're migrating to Oracle, so little piece of change. So Java is written in terms of that having in mind. So you have class.forName. First step is to load the jar, right? So once the jar is loaded, next is to establish the connection. There is a class called driver manager actually. So driver manager, when you put that get connection, the three arguments for it is first is nothing but the database name, second is username, third is password. Once you give that, if your connection is fine, you will get this CON object ready. Okay. Once this CON object is ready, you can actually, there are set of steps. Okay, you can actually create statement. Statement is something like to fire queries in SQL. Okay. So once you get a statement object ready, you can put a execute query. You can give query as such, select star from EMP. So what will happen if EMP table has more than one rows, you will get a list of rows, right? So that list of rows will be in this guy, result set RS. So result set initially that RS pointer will be outside of any row actually. If there are 10 rows, the RS pointer will be at, assume it is in the outside of the 10 rows. If the first row is row number 1, the RS pointer will be in 0th position. So it will never even point in the first initially. So when you give RS dot next, then it will move to the first row, right? So once it moves to the first row, these are like column numbers. Get int of 1 is the first column. You need to know which data type it is. In Oracle, in MySQL, if you have provided as int, it will be get int of 1. If you provide as string, it will be get string of 2. If you provide as another string, it will be get string of 3, right? So this data will be actually created and be displayed here. Okay, fine. I will show you the example step by step how to link this jar and how to, so that you can follow. As I shared the URL, later on you can install that and try as well. So first is you need to have a MySQL client. Okay. So once you follow that URL and install, you will get all these things. So in search button, if you can check for MySQL command line, you will get this. And have choose password as admin, so you will get MySQL. So first step is to create database, right? So let us create a database. Create database followed by some database name. Okay. So let us follow some employee records, EMP records. So database got created. So it's a command to create a database. Once database gets created, you can put use command to switch into this database. Okay. So next I'm going to create one table to show you guys like all the operations like insert, select and so on, right? So first thing, create a table called employee with few attributes. Create table employee. Let me create a employee ID. So int ID is employee ID, which is of int 14. I'm planning to make it as a primary key, int ID 14, and then varchar name, the employee name varchar of 50. So, and let's put a salary of an employee, maybe in double. So what is there? I think near int. Oh, ID should come first. So yeah, I think you guys would are familiar with creating table and all, right? So it's a normal command in creating table is you create table name followed by the variable name and then followed by the data type actually, right? So ID, which is nothing but int 14, which is a primary key, name, salary. I think there is no space between salary and this double. Let me do that as well. Okay, so the table got created. Fine. So to see the table, you can give a description of the table. DESC employee, right? So you will see here ID being a primary key, you have key primary, name and salary. So database got created. Uh, database name is EMP records. Employee name is, sorry, the table name is employee. And you have ID, name and salary, the 3 fields. Fine. So each and every 3 fields are different data types, right? And now let us open one Java code actually. Okay, so this is done. So you need a MySQL jar, right? First. So for that, you need to have the jars. Those jars. Yeah, this is the MySQL connector jar actually. Let me see where it is. Okay. Keep this folder aside. And here, okay. This is, I think, our folder actually. Package learning dot database at JDBC. Fine. So the first step is to connect to that jar, right? So let us create a class. Class name can be my employee fetch employee DAO. We specify the database class as DAO. So it's a naming convention. The class we interact with the database. DAO means data access objects. Okay. So it's just a naming convention if you go into some projects. Okay. And once that is done, yeah, let us add as usual public static void main string yes. Okay. So here we're gonna try this now. Let's try this stuff. Fine. First thing you see class dot class dot is capital, right? Class dot for name. You need to specify the driver actually. Correct? So to specify the driver, yeah, this is a piece of code actually. Class dot for name count dot mysql dot JDBC dot driver. So first step we have given the class dot for name. So this driver has to be loaded. Still we have not added this driver into our project. As of now, what we did is we opened MySQL, we created a database, we created a table, we came to Java project, created one class. That's it. We have not added further anything. So class dot for name this thing, and yeah, you will get a lot of exceptions because obviously this will be a checked exception, right? We discussed exception handling because what happens if the driver is not there, right? So better you need to surround everything with try catch here, whatever you do. So better you put it entire thing as an exception. Later we can see on handling a specific exceptions. So class dot for name, first step is done, right? Second step is like you need to put a driver manager dot get connection like this. Fine. So connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection. Next step. So syntax wise, don't worry. So there are 3 to 4 steps in syntax wise, and you need to know how that works, right? So once that is done, you need to know how to use, and then you can learn it easily. So connection is one of the object, and driver manager is another class. This is also like get connection is like creating an object for driver. So when you press Control Shift O, see these imports. It should be Java SQL connection, SQL Driver Manager. Right now here we need to change JDBC colon MySQL slash slash. The first argument is the URL of the database you're gonna connect. So this up to this everyone will almost get into this port number. Here you need to give your database. What is our database name? EMP records. Here you need to change EMP records. Fine. And then you need to give the username and password. Username will be normally root. I have given password as admin. For everyone, username will be root only. Got it? If this code is fine and perfectly working, then you will not have a problem generally. So when I click this where it is going, yeah, this is fine. And now let me try to run this now so that you will understand, because I am not even giving the statement object here, just going to run the connection. If the connection is fine, you should not get any error. You should be getting the statement here without going into the catch block, right? So this is a way you need to test a piece by piece whether the connection is working or not and so on. Yes, you will get exception. So purposefully I loaded this. So what is the exception? See here, class not found exception. So you're not getting this hello. So it's trying to load this driver com.mysql.jdbc driver. It is not available for it. That is why it is getting a class not found exception. Fine. Right. So what you need to do is you need to actually go here. You can add a lib folder. So one important thing here is just a minute. So one important thing actually is like how to refer a jar. Okay, so we know the jar is available here. See, the jar is here. We need to add this jar for this error. As I told, like this error is coming up because of we are not added this jar, and Java is trying to load this jar for the driver. Okay, once the driver is only loaded, then only this guy can work. Driver manager, get connection and so on. So basically it is failing here, right? Failing in the line number 10 itself while trying to load it. Okay. So the important point what I want to add here is you can add the jar like this. Go build path, configure build path. Okay, libraries, you can put add jar. Okay. So if you put add external jar, many people will do this error actually. Do this procedure. So they download the jar from internet and keep it in their desktop or downloads or whatever it is. They go there, add external jars, go to the downloads and try to find the jar. Say for example, I can do like this as well. Where it is? Yeah. So suppose your jar is in this location. So what many people will do while trying to add jar, they will put this location here, put it over here. You got the jar added and order will be like this. You apply. Okay. Yeah, jar is added. I'm not denying it. You added the jar, build path, you added external jar. Right? So there is no error now. But the problem is you have referenced by adding a jar your hard drive location. That means if you try to import this project and share it to someone else, what will happen? They will get error. They will not have that jar. Because somewhere in your hard drive, what you are doing is in your project, you are referring your hard drive location. Meaning, so if you go to build path again, configure build path. If you see here, C colon users, my name, desktop, net banking, some project. Inside that lib, I have this jar. So if you import this project, right, this jar will not be available to you if you share this project. Okay, so that is not a good case, right? So what you need to do, a good approach is go to the project folder itself. You need to go to the Java course itself, the project folder. There put some lib folder, copy paste the jar and refer it from your project. So all the jars should be inside your project. So if you import your project and ship to someone else, there also it should be available, right? The guy should not face the issue. So similarly from here, I can put it over here. So what about here then? I can remove this actually, remove and add jar this time. Jar, external jar is different, jars are different. And I add jar and let me refresh the project once. So I got a lib folder now, right? Now build path, configure build path. Let me remove this. Add jar, Java course. Now we have lib. So this refers to the relative path, not on the absolute path of your hard drive. Now if you see Java course lib is already available as part of the entire project. When you import this project and give it to someone else, so they will not get any error. The jar is as part of your project, right? You apply and run as Java application. So till these steps understood guys, I created a database, created a table, just created a class with two statements and the concept of importing the jar in your project. So you should not give the absolute path. You should put your jar into one of the folders of your project and then you can refer it over there. Any doubts until this point?
Yeah, sure. One question now.
Yeah, yeah.
So in real time, you will have this code somewhere in our this root admin, all those things will be there, or it will be like properties.
In real time, this will be in some properties file. You will not, no one will hard code like this. People will put a
So
text file.
where do you set the properties in Eclipse?
No, not in Eclipse. You will create one text file and you will read from the text file, something like that only. You will maintain a text file.
Oh, okay,
Okay. So
okay.
yeah, we have file handling, right? So similar to that, there is something called property in Java. The property as a class in Java. So you can create a dot properties file and you can put all these configuration in the dot properties file. It's more of enhancement of file way of reading it. There will be code like property dot get property. You get pass the key, you will get the value. That's it. Okay. So many frameworks are available nowadays for property handling in Apache and so on. Okay. So basically what you
So
can
everything will be
do,
in a text file.
yeah, everything will be in some text file. That's what. So here you will give like this, just a URL name. This will be like URL. This will be like username. This will be password. It will be configured in some file or something. We will be reading from that file. Okay. So that requires not even a server startup. Just a restart is enough for the app actually to pick that. Okay, in real time. So people will log into that particular stage or environment. They go to the text file and they will change the properties. You can keep any flags, any things you want. There will be a list of properties in any of the projects in Java. So from them you can do that. Yeah.
So when you import that project, even the text file also should be part of that.
Exactly. The text file will be inside one of this folder and here actually. Like I added a jar here, right? The text file will also be should be under here. Got it?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
you downloaded this jar from the internet, right?
I downloaded this jar from internet. Correct.
And put it in this lib folder.
Correct. Exactly. This is from internet. If you search in internet like MySQL JDBC jar driver jar, yeah, automatically it will be there. You go there, you get it anything you want. Basically, here or here, anything. So these problems will be resolved like once you move on to Maven, like dependency management. You will not even download the jar. Instead, what you do, you will add the dependency. Like that will be like pom.xml. See here. That's a benefit of Maven project. Instead of you just putting a download button here, you think download somewhere else, download will be there. Instead of doing that, you have some concept of adding these few lines. Okay. So automatically, if you have an internet connection, so this will get downloaded and save it in your local repository. So we will see that once we move on to REST-based web services slowly. So for now, what you need to understand, you can download the jar from internet. Yes. So if you click this, see here, it's downloaded. Fine.
So this jar is the actually MySQL
Connectivity
full
jar. It's
software.
not. It's not a MySQL's one. It's a Java's JDBC Type 4 driver. Meaning is each and every guy will have Java should have a mechanism to connect to MySQL, right? So those type of code,
Yeah.
how to connect with MySQL, everything has been done in this jar. Similarly, Java will have a different mechanism to connect with Oracle. Some little bit changes and something will be there. Because if you see the code, right, no changes will be there in code actually. Okay, you the same way you connect it, the same way you retrieve the element, the same way you. So the commonality established in Java means internally there should be a lot of work should have been done. Correct? Because database syntax also will different most of the time. Correct? Little bit minor
Yeah.
changes, the structure of it, how to connect with it. A lot of things will vary actually from MySQL and Oracle itself. So they have provided a jar for us. Okay. This is a step. Simply put a jar and create it. Any further doubts till this point? No? Okay. So steps, again I'm reiterating. The link I shared, right? Install the database. Install MySQL, choose the password as admin, anything you want, and create a database. Use that particular database, create table, come to Java, create your own project, some name. You do want to load this driver, add some lib folder and put that jar in your location, right? And then create a connection. So this first step is the URL. Remember guys, this is the database name, this part. Username is always root. Password is the password you do when you try to install the program. So when everything is correct, it will go to the line number 13. So connection got established. That's the meaning, right? So once connections got established, you can give your own statements to see the data, whether you are able to fetch the data from the database or not, right? Okay. So how are we going to insert the data? Next step. Or how are you going to retrieve the data? Let us try to retrieve the data first. So these are the statements if you see. So statement is again another interface under JDBC. Okay. See, always you should never choose vendor specific here. If you put import, right, there will be multiple options available. Now you are slowly into Java EE, right? So no more you will have a single import. You will have a lot of jars, lot of things available. So you should be conscious enough like what should I import? So it's not MySQL. Don't ever do that. Okay. So you should not go for vendor specific. Always go for java.sql.statement. Because in future, if you change other thing also, you will need not touch here. Those are like interfaces. In runtime, Java will know whether it is Oracles or MySQLs and so on. Fine. Create statement is a thing you can fire a query. So once you get a statement object, with that statement object, you can execute query. So our table name is like employee. So you put select star from employee. Fine. And this rs, as I told, will have a pointer to the rows. So initially it will point to outside, actually it doesn't point to anything. Okay. So let us try to insert a row. Select star from employee, it should be empty set now, nothing is there. Let us try to insert into employee values. So let put 1001 and the name we can put John and some salary, right? Select star from employee. You have 1001 John. So now let us try to get this data here. So select star from employee done, right? So as we know, if rs.get int of 1 is a column name. Okay. So the first column, you should be conscious enough, like the first column should be the integer. If you don't do that, you will get exception. Okay, you see integer here, int 14 we declared. If you see, that's the size of the integer that can be handled as integer in Java as well. So the second is a string and the third is a double. That's what we declare. So if you want to print like rs.getInt of 1, so you should get the employee ID here, right? Because integers can be printed in system.out.println, but you will not get here because I want to show that rs is not pointing it actually, right? So now if you see what exception you are getting before start of result set. So the result set is always, once you do it, it's outside of your rows. So it's not even started. To start it, what you need to do, rs.next. Next is something move forward. When you tell first time rs.next, that only it will come to this first row. Okay, so to show it, I given this. So when I run this now, I moved it once, right? So you're able to get 1001. I have not given 1001 anywhere here. It's going to the database and fetching it. So when I give rs.next, it coming to the first row, right? And inside that first row, I get the int of 1. That means I'm trying to print the first column's value of the first row, which is 1001. Fine. So that's what rs.next. Not normally what people do is people will put this in a while loop. So automatically this will execute first until the result set exists. They give a code like this: system.out.println rs.employee id rs.getInt of 1 employee name employee salary. See here get string, okay, of 2, and this is get double, right, 3, right. So let us run this. So whatever rows it has, it will fetch correctly and it will display. Even if I have more than one row, since it is a loop, right? So until the result set exists, it will iterate and just display the data for us. Okay, just add one more. Okay, so let us put 1002 beta. Okay, so 2 rows are there now. This Java application. Fine. So it is able to fetch both the rows: 1001 John, 1002 Peter, and 4 ones. So I am looping it, and step by step the employee ID, employee name, and employee salary we are able to get it properly. This is one way to get by giving the indexes. So you may ask like how I will remember the column names if the table sizes are very large. Yeah, there are tables with 20, 25 columns also. So for that we have other alternative. Instead of giving the number, you can give the name as well. You can give it like this. But the data type you should actually remember. There is no option for that, right? You need to tell that getting ID, column name ID is an integer. In that case, you need not follow the order also. So second column name is nothing but name. And if you see the third column name is nothing but a salary. Got it? So you should give those names actually. The name of the column names as such, right? Then also it will come. So let us test for negative case. What if you forget to give a name correctly? Gone. Clearly it will tell salary 1 column is not found, right? The result set is not able to find such a thing. Okay. Now let us try to change the type actually. So because in compile time no error will come. See, the code is fine. When you run only you will be facing issues here. So GetString is fine because it is able to convert the double to a string. So we didn't had a big issue there. And now if something is like, yeah. So internally string dot value of double is happening. But in your code you cannot use this if you want to do add or something, right? With the salary you want to perform some math operations. Getting it as a double only will help you, right? So this is a way to fetch the data from database. So the extra steps we discussed after that is you need to create a statement first from the connection whatever you created. With that statement object, execute query is the thing normally. Normally people will not hard code this here also. All these statements will be in some constants file. Constant in the sense the same Java file or interface. Interface is something where doesn't have a particular instance, right? You can have a constants, n number of constants. In real time, it will look like this. Okay, this is one of the college projects which I have done for some student. Okay, and here you have all the connectivities. It's like a net banking, right? So all the queries, if you see, in normal case, the DB connection also it will be in some single class. Okay, instead of creating connection and again, we have a piece of code in some this. We will see this that step by step. I want to show you the queries. Yeah, here. Normally people will put queries like this here. In some interface, you use it as a constant and establish all the queries instead of hard coding there, right? We're hard coding it here. Okay, so that's a good practice. Have an interface and move all your constants over there, right? Fine. So any doubt till this point, like reading it from the database and printing it up in our own code, in our program.
So if it is null, you'll get a null in that column, right?
Yeah, obviously. Yes, that's correct. So let us put some.
Execute query is a class name.
Sorry,
Execute query.
just a minute. Execute query.
What is that here?
No, those are one of the methods inside this class statement. Okay, so these are like inbuilt instructions. Correct.
Oh, okay.
Statement is one of the class in Java, right? Java.sql package has all these steps. So they have hidden all the details from us. So we need to know the procedure how to use this. We need to use this type of syntax to load the driver. This is syntax to connect with the with your own database with the username and password. And the next statement with that connection, whatever you have, when you create a statement, is a statement object ready. The statement objects execute query is a guy who will fires the query and the result is like a result set. Result set is something like that object will initially point outside of all the rows. Once you put rs.next each step, it will iterate one by one and coming to here. Got it? So this execute query is a method inside that statement. If you go inside, you will have this. So it's an interface.
Okay.
Maybe implementation will be some of the jars. Okay, so we need not go details into this. Okay.
So in the Eclipse workspace, we give the data resources, right?
Where
When we try to connect to a database in the
data
Eclipse
data
driver, we give the
not necessary here. This is a type 4 driver, not at all necessary. You need to add the driver alone. That's it. You add the driver alone, give the URL, username and password. No one is actually, those are like old days. People are trying to put the data source connections in some UI. They will give usernames, passwords. Not necessary. MySQL is lightweight. You can download that and use that. In real-time projects also, each people will have their own underlying servers and database, right? Fine.
okay.
Okay. So you will not do that. For learning purpose initially, Eclipse itself, inside itself, it has some small database. Okay, that's why people will teach you like in Eclipse itself what they do. They create the table. They create so that's nowhere you're gonna use it, right? That's just for learning purpose. Okay. So it's best way to have MySQL or Oracle downloaded, put some database and connect with that. That's it. So this is the only step needed to import the driver. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, you need not learn about those type 1, type 2, type 3 drivers and all unless until you're gonna attend the interview. Before that, you can learn the theoretical part of it. There is no use like it's a waste of time discussing what is type 1 driver, how to connect with type 2. Type 1 driver is something where what will happen is you need to configure into your control panel. Go their control panel. Maybe you would have done that in our college days. Maybe you people also would have remember in some point of time you would have configured your database in control panel and all. Go to control panel, add something, add data source. There will be certain steps. So those are like olden days, like type 1 driver, and then type 2 driver slowly they move like you we import some DLL files, put the jar in your program files, those type of OS dependencies. Now everything is resolved. Okay, what you need is a jar import in your project. Nowadays, just add a dependency in Maven. That's it. Okay, but we need not learn all the steps again, which is not at all used anywhere. No one gonna ask questions also. Fine. Any more doubts, guys? How we fetched the data as of now from the DB? So you need to practice this actually. You need to install the database, do these stuff. Then you will get like understanding like what are these things, right?
Okay, sure.
Just like retrieving the data from the database. We like load the class of the driver. Establish the and now we're going to insert the data to the database. Okay, so let's see. So how to insert the database in the database? You have statement, right? And you need to give insert statements. Okay.
Ashok, one question. Ashok.
Yeah,
On the select, if you have one more select query, should we just repeat everything again, or statement state stmt is equal to count dot get statement, or how is it?
If you want to give one more select query, you can use the same statement. You
Yeah.
should not repeat this line number 19.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's fine. It's a statement object is created, right? So once with the same
Yeah.
statement object, you can always fire another query. Doesn't matter. Okay.
But I have to use a new result set object,
Yeah,
RS1 or
obviously,
something.
obviously. You need to use RS1. Exactly. You got it. Cool.
Okay.
So you need to use RS2, RS3, and so on. Normally, what we do, we will
Okay.
break this up in some small methods so that you will not get these confusions. So you will pass the statement object around. You will fire the query. You will report this. In small methods
Okay.
means you will not get that confusion, right? That is different. Right. Cool. So now statement dot. There are two ways of inserting. I will show you. Syntax normally we forget. So not always have to refer internet only. Insert JDBC Insert. Yeah. So as usual, driver manager create statement object is there. Yeah, like this. So it's like execute update. Correct. So with the above statement object itself, what you can do execute update. So here you can give like insert into. Okay. Our table name is employee values. Remember, a statement is nothing but from this connection, and this connection is from this driver. So it knows that who is the driver and who is the connection you are referring to, which database you are referring to. So whatever you do, it will go to this database. Got it? That's how it works. You see, there is always a reference here. Connection, from that connection only you are creating the statement. In that statement, if you do this, so that's how it works one by one. So let us put like 1004 insert into employee values. Your name is like okay, so we have not done any print statement here. The only way to check here, go back, do a select query and see whether the data came for us. Yeah. So whatever we inserted, 1004 Thomas 3232 came here. But we're not going to do like that, right? We will never hard code like this. Correct. So what we do is, in general, try to understand this, and this will end up in some SQL injection. So when we say SQL injection is in the sense, what people can try by giving hard coding a query, right? They can always select start from any table, and they can do like some conditions like from 1 equal to 1, always make a query as true. Okay. If you refer to the internet, like what is SQL injection, people would know, like giving 1 equal to 1, not closing as apostrophe, what is that, double quotes, putting a single quotes unnecessarily, and making somehow grabbing the data from the database, right? So to avoid that, what JDBC does is, it will not recommend it to hard code like this. Okay. So what we can do is string SQL equal to insert. Here, put over here. So this is also like hard coding only, nothing much different. So what we do is, in the place of the actual data, people will put question mark. Okay. That is what it is called prepared statement. Okay. The difference between statement and you have something called prepared statement. Fine. Instead of hard coding, JDBC prepared statement insert coding. We should use this only. We should never ever hard code it. So what you will do is, okay, from the connection object, you will get like prepared statement, DB connection. Yeah. Con dot prepared statement. You need to pass this SQL insert SQL. So you will get a prepared statement object. PS. Okay. No. This also is SQL's prepared statement. Automatically it imported. Right. Now, if you see, you need to put each and everything. So finally, you will put ps.execute update. Okay. Fine. So this will return an integer, like how many rows got updated or affected. If you gonna insert 2 rows, it will return 2. If you you can put an update statement as well here. The number of rows updated, that will be the result of it. Okay. And understand this code. What we did is con dot prepare statement. So from the connection object, we have not used this statement. The reason for this, if you use this statement dot execute update, you can fire the query like with the hard coded values. That is harmful. As I told, you should not do that. Okay. So instead, to insert data, what you can do, you can use this connection object to get a prepare statement. Prepare statement, you put insert SQL, whatever the values you have, you just put question marks over there. Okay. And then you do with the help of objects, ps.set. First thing is int, right? So set int the column number 1 followed by the value 1006. We're able to understand column number 1 is of type integer, and I'm going to insert 1006 inside. Okay. And next ps.set the column 2 is like string, right? It's a varchar, and its index is 2, and I'm going to add some name. And name is can be, yeah. And third one, ps dot set double, and this time around column number 3, and I put some value for salary. So this is a perfect way of doing it. So prepare statement is something where, okay, you need to give. So how it will work is, whatever you put 1, right, whatever you put it over here, it will resolve one by one. Actually, the first one is for this first question mark, the second one is for the second question mark, and the third one is for the third question mark, and so on. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, whatever the question marks they have given. Okay. The first one is for first, second is second, and this third. Let us try to run this. If you get error, we need to give a full type of insert query actually. If you end up in it. So error is not there. Okay, this also got inserted. Fine. So this is a procedure. So how to do this, and this is a way to get a prepare statement, and 1, 2, 3 evaluates to these question marks automatically. Okay, this will prevent SQL injection and so on, because there is no way of passing the data towards here. You're setting the data in terms of object inside. Okay, so the hard coding things has been resolved here.
Ashok, this prepared statement is only for inserts and updates, or it can be used for selects also?
Select, what we do is we put our own markers actually. Okay, So colon and so on. Not much worried about prepared statements in terms of select, but that should be a way for that also. Let me check it. Prepared statement for select. Java. Yeah, it's there. So prepared statement, just execute query and you will get a result set back. Okay, instead of execute update, ps dot execute query, right? We should get a result set back. So what we can do now, we can change this code like this. Put it over here, right? And we can put it like ps dot execute query, okay? String select SQL is equal to where id equal to question mark, like this we do. Okay, so where id equal to question mark means this is for like yeah, here. Shit. Like select SQL. No. I think then it should be a two different prepared statements here. PS1, you cannot have. The reason is I'm putting it over here, right? You see the syntax over here, while DB connection itself, I am putting a select SQL, right? That should be PS1, and that should be PS2. The reason behind it is with that particular object only we are setting and doing the stuff, right? That's why. So PS2 dot execute query, like this. And here, what I can do, here is enough. PS2 is fine. So I'll set now here. PS2 dot set int for the first parameter index. For this first question mark, let me give a data called 1005. So it should return only one row now.
So in line number 26, it should be select SQL, right?
Yeah, correct. Exactly. So duplicate entry 1006. Oh, I'm trying to insert the same value again. I made that as primary key, right? 1007. Okay. 1005 is not there. It should come, right? Is to dot execute query. Let us comment this first. No, it's not even going. Oh, 1005 is not there. Okay, fine. So,
Yeah.
so
So
this is a
if
way.
there's one more and where condition if there's one more, then you'll put two, right?
Two, yeah, depending upon the database.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, depending upon the data type, you need to put two. So it
Yeah.
evaluate from left
Yeah.
to right. Left to right question marks are replaced by 1, 2, 3, and so on.
One, two, three, okay.
Okay, this will purely avoid those type of SQL injections. Yeah, because what will happen by giving a query, the data inside here as part of a query is always danger, right? So that's so. So this is a way to connect Oracle. See the same way. Even people trying to connect with Oracle also, procedure going to be the same. DB connection, loading the class name, driver manager, the connection. The thing's going to be the same, and steps also going to be the same, right?
Hello, Ashok.
So in this, oh yeah.
Yes, Sherry.
No, the SQL exception, right? So we have to know what exception to,
Yeah,
like if it's not found, if it's duplicate.
Yeah. Those things you need to catch SQL exception here. So you can put multiple catch statements. You can figure it out what type of exceptions if you want. Okay.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah, Ashok, that inserting, we, as of now, we hard coded the values, right? Suppose
Yeah.
if we are, if we are using variables to
Yeah.
insert.
Yeah. That is not an issue.
Oh,
You can get this is using scanner class. You can get from the web pages from servlet. It will come to as a methods. So whatever value instead of hard coding it here, you can put the variables. That's it. Not a big deal.
okay,
Instead of
okay.
1007 Gita, whatever I have
Yeah,
given here,
we can put the variables
we
also,
can
right?
put the variables. Obviously, variables are
Okay.
values at runtime. If you put variables, it's going to substitute as
Yeah,
values. That's it.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, guys. So go through this completely. So I will share this video. So like setup and then try. So next class, if you have any problems in setting it up and connecting it, we will figure it out in your each of your machines. So that is important. Okay, because next what we're going to do in the next class is we're going to develop a small system. We're going to develop 3 to 4 tables from the employee database, and we will try to put more queries and develop some small methods like to insert, update, delete, and so on. So later on, slowly we will move that to from create a web page and try to invoke that. Okay, so that is a plan.
So
Fine.
you'll share the link for that MySQL also, right?
I shared actually just before this
Oh, you
class.
shared that.
Shared
Okay.
just a
Okay. Okay.
URL. If you
Yeah.
click
Thank
it, it will get download. Okay.
you. Yeah. Sure. Thanks, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
When will
Guys.
you
Okay.
Yeah.
be able to share this videos recording?
Video I can share it in 4 to 5 hours inside each office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And
Okay.
so core Java
So
is like theory is completed, right? Anything is pending?
theory means Java from Java side. You are asking core Java, right?
Yeah, core Java.
That is fine. Whatever we learned is enough.
Okay.
Okay, so more of like how real-time projects, how to work, that is important for you guys. So from here,
Yeah.
yeah, from here we need to see what are the different ways, like develop our own classes to retrieve, select, insert, update, keep that ready. Next step, develop some code to test it. Next step, develop a UI from UI JSP page to servlet to this. So one end to end, one small application. Next, make it as a REST based web application. That's way we have to go step by step. Okay, then only
Okay.
you will feel that hands on, right? Yeah. Okay, guys, let me know when can we have next class. So before 3 to 4 days before,
Okay.
so that we can plan it out. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Once we set up all these things, we can proceed.
Yeah, sure.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Even if you have doubts, let me know. We'll see.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you then.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Bye.
So thank
Okay.
you.
Sure.